Hi, my name is Kay Sutha. I am a business strategist and I will be your host. In this podcast, I'll be getting raw, real, and relentless whilst interviewing successful entrepreneurs from all over the world who specialize in different aspects of business. We will cover the 5 main pillars of business, which are sales, marketing, finance, operations, and leadership, but not forgetting mindset, live and digital events, plus much, much more. You will gain insights, tips and tricks, and discover jaw-dropping actionable steps that you will be able to put in place for your business right away. Guys, my next guest that I have for all of you, she is amazing. I have known her for a little while. We're part of mastermind groups and on Facebook groups, and the stuff that she puts on there, the content is crazy. I love it. I'm also going through one of her programs myself. Guys, she spent 20 plus years in management information systems as a programmer, systems analysis, database designer, and finally as an IT manager for a global company. She pivoted after a hypnotherapist eliminated her ulcer. It was a total convincer for her, and she became a hypnotherapist and an EFT stroke tapping practitioner. Along the way, she discovered a better and more effective techniques to help people have a better life. She became a bookstore owner and the event manager for another bookstore, putting over 300 events a year for 6 years. She saw how many heart-centered practitioners struggled to make their craft a real thriving business and decided to share her inside-out knowledge and experience. Now she helps mind, body, spirit healers and readers double their income with a 90-day trigger clearing coaching program. Please welcome Sue Wilhite, Profit Attraction Master. Sue, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Kay. I have been so looking forward to being a guest on your show since you were a guest on mine and you had the show in the planning stages. And it's been, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I've been so excited to have you on here. I know we were meant to do this earlier. Things just didn't happen. Life is life. And sometimes we just got to go with it and just work it out, right? But finally, we've got here. And thank you for coming on to this show.
Oh, you're so welcome.
So what I would like to do is just get into the nitty gritty, right? Let's give people a load of value and we'll figure out how we can actually make our lives, our business a lot more successful than it is today. So before we get into all of that, I did mention in the intro that you were in IT. How did you go from being in IT to building your own business?
Right? Yeah.
How does that happen?
A left-brained, logical, rational, structured IT programming, you got to do the flow to, right. Okay, we're doing left brain stuff, we're doing healing, we're doing practice, we've got to do the intuitive, we got to do this. And the deal is that, of course, nobody is just one thing or another, right?
Right.
We no matter what my profession was, I was always intuitive. My left brain was always, I majored in comparative literature when I was in college. Huh. So when you just hear,
did you go to IT then?
Right. So IT came out of, and by the way, anybody who has a literature, or English or language degree, pay close attention.
Okay.
Writing papers where you have to do analysis of hidden themes and teasing out what the structure is and what did the author mean by that stands you in very good stead when you're doing programming, because you have to start at the beginning, go on through the middle, make sure all the things tie together, no spaghetti cut off into weird directions, right? And in order to do it properly, you have to be able to interview the client or the customer to tease out what it is they really want, what they really have, and what they're really doing, right? So my motivation in all of that was always to use the programming as a tool to make people's lives better.
Right. Okay.
Right? If I could design a system or a report that would save people hours of doing things manually so that they could go home early, or maybe do something, a different project, or find a flaw in manufacturing or in customer service or marketing or something like that. If they could get to that quicker, bingo, that's what I wanted. So becoming a hypnotherapist after the wonderful hypnotherapist took away my ulcer was kind of a logical extension. It was, ooh, I can make people's lives better by backing it up out of the workplace,
right,
and helping them to be better people in whatever way that they really wanted to do. And then my IT skills that got really honed about what is it that you really want was really helpful.
Yeah, I can see you love doing that, Sue.
Yeah. Let's get down to it here.
Okay, now just to backtrack a little bit, right, about the hypnotherapist that got rid of your ulcer. Now,
Yes.
how long did you have the ulcer for? Where did the ulcer come from? And how was it? Was it just one hypnotherapist session that actually got rid of it? How did that work?
Yeah. So when I became IT manager, it was kind of cool, and it was a wonderful job for a little while. I had great support. It was almost a dream job. It was fabulous. And then we got bought by another company, and things shifted a little bit, not too terribly badly. My boss was really protective, but the stress level started to ramp, because now I wasn't taking care of a California company that was doing business in the United States. I was taking care of a company that was doing business all over the world. And there were, systems changes and integrations and all kinds of things. So the ulcer was because I was not dealing with my stress properly. And I'd had the ulcer for the better part of a year when my friend said, oh, come to this hypnotherapy demo. This guy is really amazing, and he's doing free demonstrations of how hypnotherapy works, as opposed to a hypnosis show, right? This was not a hypnosis show. This was not where, you get 25 people up on stage and they cluck like chickens and they dance like aliens, or, all of this sort of thing. That's not what it was about. It was showing how hypnotherapy could be used as a therapeutic tool.
Right.
And so when the guy asked for volunteers, I went, oh yeah, sure, go ahead.
I was like, you were convinced from the beginning, Sue.
I was not convinced at all. Not at all. I said, I have an ulcer, good luck with that. And he went, oh, okay, ulcers are cool.
What?
Okay.
All right.
I can't tell you exactly what it was that got rid of the ulcer, because he demoed 5 different techniques on me.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know which one was ultimately, or whether it was a combination or whatever, but it was about an hour and a half of him, going, okay, we're going to do this now, and we're going to do this now, and we're going to do this now. And I came out of it with no ulcer.
Well, instantly. Oh my goodness. So it was.
How did I do that? I knew it because I was on medication that I had to take every 12 hours. And if I did not take it on the 12-hour mark on the dot, instant gastric flame.
Oh, wow. Oh my
So goodness. I took the medicine that night and woke up the next morning and went, okay, I knew it, but this is good. I'm over it.
So, Sue, I know there's a lot of people that deal with stress, right? Work related or something that's going in their family or personal life or whatever. Everyone knows stress, right? There isn't a single person on this planet that doesn't not understand what stress is, right?
Especially this year.
Yes, exactly. But
Yes.
my question to you is, because you knew this was stress and it was work related, why didn't you just quit?
Because I had nearly a 6-figure income.
Ah, okay.
And ultimately, I did quit.
Okay.
Well, not only did I have a 6-figure income, but or a nearly 6-figure income, but I also had, despite the stress, a really supportive environment. It was, my boss was amazing. The people I worked with were amazing. The team was just really grand. It was just, I was taking on all of the responsibility for, for everything. And so, and to be fair, this was in the late 90s or the middle of the 90s, when self-care and stress management and all of this sort of thing, especially in the Silicon Valley, was just unheard of. It was like, yeah, we know you're stressed, whatever.
Right.
My boss is really good about, go take a mental day off. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And I always took off a week at Christmas, and went up. I had a cabin in the hills and went off for a week with no devices and no nothing. But that wasn't enough.
Okay.
It was still my own mental and emotional commitment to the responsibility that was getting in my way.
So tell me this, does hypnotherapy get rid of stress altogether then? Does that mean I would never stress out?
No.
Okay.
And there isn't a technique on the planet. And if anybody tells you there is a technique that will get rid of stress permanently, run away very, very fast, because stress is a natural part of our bodies.
Okay. All right. And so we need to feel that emotion at some of the time.
Right. Just prolonged, maintained stress over months and years.
Right.
That's bad. That's not what we're designed to do.
Got it.
And actually, I tell you a really fun brain thing.
Go for it.
Because to hypnotherapy, I really got into neuroscience and neurobiology, and thought, this is so cool. The brain is so amazing. You don't know anything about it, roughly. So our bodies are designed that when we have a strongly felt emotion, so let's say you stub your toe, okay, right? You stubbed your toe and you go, oh, word.
Right. I've done that. I've done it.
Right? I think everybody's done that.
Yeah.
Right? The body is designed to have a 90-second reaction time. Your body is designed to go, oh my God, stressor, stress, relax, go away. The problem is that we've got these other parts of our brain that get in the way. When you stub your toe, you've probably forgotten about it in 90 seconds. But let's say somebody cuts you off on the freeway.
Oh, yes.
Right? You go, word, you stupid, and you keep going.
Well, those words will be a lot stronger than what you said, but yeah, there'd be a lot of words coming out.
You're going to think about it for 5, 10, 15 minutes, maybe the whole day. Something will go, oh, that person cut me off. I can't believe they did that.
Right.
And you're hanging on to it. And so cortisol, which is the stress hormone, sticks around in your cells.
Oh, I see.
And the more that you have that pattern, the more the cortisol sticks around, the more damage cortisol does to your body.
Interesting. Okay, that's definitely good to know, and that's something that I've learned there as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. So I heard that you have the ability to do exactly what you've been saying. That's to clear emotional triggers. Can you
Yes.
explain a little bit more about what that actually means?
Yeah. So after, I'm going to do a little bit more history just to make it more logical. So after becoming a hypnotherapist, I was hooked on finding the best possible way for people to become better, right? This was now my quest. It just kept going. So I explored every technique under the sun. I mean, I have been, partly because of my experience being an event manager and booking people, I have been introduced to just about every technique there is for personal growth and change. Okay, around the world.
Wow.
And right, and I've met some of them, some of the folks who invented them. And the most effective techniques, there's two of them really. The most effective techniques that I found had to do with sound, and sound in particular using tuning forks. Now, everybody has heard of, the singing bowls, right? Yes. And people tend to love the singing bowls. They've heard them and they, right? We love our singing bowls. I adore singing bowls.
Just for people that don't know what singing bowls are, could you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, I thought I had one up on my desk, but oh wait, it's over here.
Because it was very recently that I actually realized what a singing bowl was. I didn't know myself. So just for those people that don't know. Okay, there we go.
So this is a singing bowl. It's made out of brass, and it is specially designed to hold a tone. And what you can do is you can either strike it, or let's see if I can do this.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not giving off the best tone right now, because usually I have it on a solid surface, not on my hand.
Okay.
But when you stroke it like that, it causes a tone and it rings, and that's why they call it a singing bowl. But singing bowls are very unprecise. They have tones, but they're not tuning forks, which is what I use. Okay. A tuning fork is manufactured to produce one tone, and that's the tone.
Okay.
And tuning forks also, they produce that tone, but they also produce the octave above and below. So you're actually getting the main tone, but you're getting an overtone and an undertone. Okay. Singing bowls have tones all over the place.
Right. Okay.
There are computer generated frequencies that claim to be pure tones, and you can get like a 528 frequency on the computer, but that does not have the overtones and undertones, which are actually part of what end up becoming the stress reliever.
Okay.
So I have specially designed tuning forks that I can use either on the body or remotely, and eliminate strongly held beliefs, emotions, thoughts, experiences from your system that are causing you, they're the things that you're hanging on to that are causing that stress. You've held on to them for more than 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lifetime. Right. And sometimes because of trauma.
Right. And what I really want to stress to everybody is that I am going through one of your programs right now, and you're using those forks in those videos. And honestly, to be completely and utterly honest with you, brutally honest, I was thinking, what is this? That does this really work? It was a bit woo-woo to me, right?
Yes.
And so I was like, hold on a second.
But it sounds woo-woo.
Right. So I was like, hold on a second. Let me give this a try. I've known you for a long time. You've been doing this for a long time. Let me be a little open-minded about this and see what kind of reaction results that I get. And so as I sat there and you were doing your thing and I was watching the video, what I found is that I closed my eyes and I was just listening to the sound, right? And listening to your voice. And the biggest thing that I felt was a huge weight lifted off me. All of a sudden, I felt so light, right? Now, I don't know if that was meant to happen or there was something else that was meant to happen, but that's what I felt.
That is the number one reaction that I hear from people who either do the program that you're going through or direct sessions. When I check in with them after the session, they go, I just feel lighter. And I go, okay, so do you mean lighter as in weight, or does the world seem brighter? And they go, both, both. I've had people, when I was working on them in person,
yes,
I'd finish the session and they'd open up their eyes and they'd go, did you change the lighting in here? It's brighter in here. I'm going, no, if anything, it's darker. We lost an hour. It's in the afternoon.
Wow. But do you know what I did? My next reaction was that I felt so light, I had to go and take a nap. And that nap was one of the best naps I took in a long while, right?
Yes.
It was almost like a meditation.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I just gotta take a nap now. And so, yeah, that was what I felt when I did it. And that felt really, really good.
Yes, that's the integration part. And actually, I tell people don't drive, don't do anything after you've had a session.
Okay.
Because this frequently happens. Because what we've done is we've changed the energy balance in your system.
Right.
And it's not that we got rid of anything. Mm-hmm. The energy can be created or destroyed, right? First law of thermodynamics. What we've done is we've taken this energy that has been in this loop that's been going bad thing, bad thing, bad thing, bad thing. And we've evened it out so it doesn't do that anymore.
Right, I see.
And so this thing that has been literally crunching you, right, is now relaxed. And your brain says, wow, I get to relax now. I'm going to go to sleep.
Right, I see.
And your brain tries to integrate all of these new pathways that just opened up, and to integrate all this new energy. It's not new energy, but this available energy that is going through your system. So it's fabulous for a stress reliever.
Awesome. So my next question to you is, and I know our audience are probably thinking, what's happening here? What qualifies you as an expert in this field?
Well, first of all, when I became a hypnotherapist, I did everything. I took every class I could possibly take. So I trained as a hypnotherapist for a year and a half, and I took hypnotherapy, I took clinical hypnotherapy, I took past life regressions, I took emotional technique, I took hypnoanesthesia, parts 1 and 2, I took pain management, I took the whole gamut of it. And then, over the years, I've taken other courses in personal development. And when I got introduced to this technique that I was talking about, which is called biofield tuning. Now, the biofield being the electromagnetic field that surrounds your body, it's called a biofield. This is a technical term. It's defined in science.
Right.
And tuning, because I've had people go, biofield tuning, that's just such a woo-woo. No, biofield is a real term.
Right.
It's the tuning forks, right? So I'm tuning the electromagnetic field around your body. And the person who created this technique, Eileen McCusick, certifies people with a multiple part training program that is very thorough. She insists on us doing kind of like what therapists do. You have to do so many hours of practice. We had to do hours and hours and hours of practice before we could be a practitioner. And then in February of 2020, just before everything happened, I got certified as an advanced biofield practitioner. I took the advanced course and did the work associated with that. So I'm now an advanced biofield.
So you've done lots of little things here and there.
Plus all of the experience that I brought to the table from all of my other things that I have done. So all of my other practice.
So you've done a lot of different things there. You've clearly done your research and looked at different avenues. And now you've come across this formula that absolutely works for everyone. Now, I want you to mention, as I mentioned earlier, that I was doing one of your programs that helps you get rid of some of those triggers. Can you mention what those 7 triggers are? Because I know there's going to be a lot of people that come under one of those categories, if not more.
Right. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to call it up because 7 is beyond my memory. 7 triggers are illness, poverty, abandonment, addiction, betrayal, abuse, and violence.
Right. See, now there is something in every single one of them, right? Even if we don't want to admit it to ourselves, right? We'd be able to relate to maybe all of them at some point in our lives, right?
Oh, yes.
On to. And so being able to have that freed from you and, just kind of sitting there and listening to the tones and everything and how much lighter that makes you. I mean, there was a couple of modules that I did that I didn't think I was affected. I was like, oh no, I probably don't have anything there. And when I did it and I felt lighter, I was like, oh, holy crap, clearly there's something is there, Right.
Because here's the cool part. It doesn't necessarily belong to you. It might belong to one of your ancestors.
That's right. You did mention that in the video. Yeah.
Right. Because one of the things that is being researched now is how strongly held emotions, thoughts, and beliefs can, in a certain way, get written into the DNA.
Yes.
So you can inherit them and they can skip a generation. So you could have, your great grandfather could have been abused, could have had, some kind of an abusive situation, which is both violence and abuse and probably betrayal, right? And did enough work so that maybe he didn't pass that on to your grandfather, but it's in the DNA. It got written to the DNA.
That to me is insane that this can be passed on to your DNA. No one really ever talks about that. You don't even realize that that's even possible to have emotions spread down to your DNA. So it's so vital that whatever we've got going on with us, whatever's been passed down to us, that we need to deal with it so we don't pass it down even more.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely.
So bringing that to mind, what can you teach the audience today that they can apply immediately so they can have something or dip themselves in have their toes dipped in water and try this method out, right? That they can apply immediately.
Yeah. So one of the things that is really helpful, there's actually 2 things. I'll give you a bonus too. Awesome.
Yeah.
So there's a technique that I teach that's about releasing negative thoughts that are hanging into your head.
Yeah.
And it's a 3-part really fast thing. The first thing is to become aware of it, which is the hard part. The second part, and this is where most people who teach this go wrong. The second part is to think of something neutral.
What does that mean?
Don't oh my God, I feel like crap, to, okay, I'm going to think about a sunset. You can't do it. Your brain won't go there. Right. It's like trying to make a U-turn at 70 miles an hour. You're going to crash, right? You can't do it. What you do is you notice the negative thought and you think about a doorknob, or you think about, a teaspoon, or you think about, a table lamp, something that has no emotional connotation whatsoever. And you think about that.
Right.
And then you go to a positive thing. And those two things, the neutral thing and the positive thing, you must choose ahead of time. You must say, okay, when I notice a negative thought, I'm going to think about door hinges. And then I'm going to think about my baby laughing, or I'm going to think about how good a rose smells, or I'm going to think about, drinking a good cup of tea and how warm that is on a winter morning.
Got it. Okay, I see. So we reframe that so we know what to think about when we go into these into that particular mindset. Okay.
Yes. So that's one. The other is, if you can possibly manage it, go outside, take your shoes off, and touch a tree.
What, with your feet?
No, just go outside with, sorry, that wasn't clear. Go outside, take your shoes off underneath a tree if it's safe to do so. Don't go out in 20-degree weather. Take your shoes. Barefoot is best, and take care of yourself. But go touch a tree. Oh. Touch a tree and get in kind of communion with the tree. It has been shown that being in touch with, literally in touch with nature, trees are best things, actually reduces your stress level.
Okay. So
if you focus on the tree, you just bring your mind around to the tree and you notice the bark, you notice how it smells, you notice what it feels like under your skin, you notice the tree.
So we really need to be a lot more outdoorsy than we are. And if you're stuck behind a laptop at working from home, it's not going to be any good for you. We need to get ourselves out.
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. So if people want to kind of get hold of you, actually, no, I'm jumping the gun there. I would love for you to tell our audience about a couple of success stories that you've had with recent clients.
Yeah. So speaking of ancestry, so one of my clients who has gone through my program, she was the daughter of somebody who is a very, very successful entrepreneur. And he had his business, and she was to be raised in his business and do his thing and be, well, first of all, she was female, so that was kind of a problem for him.
Right.
But he dealt with it, and it was like, yeah, you're my daughter, but we can, we'll make this work.
Okay.
And so there was this not being accepted for who she was.
Wow.
And the expectation was she was going to be, part of his company. Mm-hmm. And when she got into her 20s and 30s, it was like, well, you know what, Dad, this is all very well and fine, but I think I have another path. And Dad was not okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It took her 10 years. She was struggling for 10 years to try to break away. And then she met me. I mean, this sounds like a commercial, and it is. And then she met me. And I worked with her to release the old family patterns of expectations of, having to do it, because this is a business that had actually been in the family for a while.
Okay.
And the family, the expectations, what I call the overshadowing of her father over her and stifling her creativity. she called me one day and she goes, I just realized I don't have to do what my father says.
Oh, wow.
It sounds like, well, duh, but really for her, she got it at a cell level. It was like she woke up after a session and went, I don't have to do what he says. I could go off and do my own thing. Okay, so now next sessions, we're going to start working on doing my own thing. What do I have to do?
Amazing. Amazing. You know what? And it's just those little things that I guess keep us behind us to, what we really want to do. And it may not sound like a big thing to other people, and it may sound easy, but when you're going through it and you don't know any better, you don't realize that yourself, is difficult to get yourself out of the situation, right? And it comes down to, you don't know what you don't know. If you've got it into your mind, this is how it should be, then that's what you're going to be doing.
Right. And you don't know that thing is so embedded in there.
Right.
And you don't know how to get it out. No. And so the deal is that she had been struggling for 10 years.
Insane.
Don't struggle for 10 years. Don't struggle for 5. Don't struggle for 1.
Yeah.
If you find yourself struggling after 6 months, let's accelerate this process.
Right. Exactly.
Don't waste time getting your gifts out in the world. It's not worth it.
No, it definitely isn't. I love it. So if people want to get to know you a little bit more, or if they want to actually find something, addition that they can do, maybe some free support, where can they go to find this information?
My website is called sweetsoundofsuccess.com. I'll say that again, sweetsoundofsuccess.com. And on it, you'll see the biofield tuning sessions are up there. And if you look along the menus, you'll see my coaching programs. You'll see individual sessions. I'm still not doing things in person quite yet. I'm almost there. But I can definitely do remote sessions all over the world. And I've done them all over the world. Awesome. With somebody in South Africa, somebody in Germany. So it's like across the United States, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, awesome. And guys, remember, all the links will actually be in the show notes. So if you didn't catch it here, take a look below. You'll see them there. Sue, it was such a delight having you on the show. Thank you for being here. Learned so much stuff just in the few minutes that you were here. So I'd love to kind of just say thank you again.
Well, thank you, Kay, and best of luck to you. I hope I want this podcast to be incredibly successful, and I know it will.
Oh, I'm sure of it. I'm going to make sure of it. There's no other way. You've got to make anything that you do, it's got to be a success, right? And it's not just a dream you follow, but it has to be your obligation, right? You got to make it work. So yeah, definitely gonna go down that route for sure. Once again, thank you for being here, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for your time and listening to Uncensored Society podcast. All resources mentioned throughout the episode will be added to the show notes, and you'll be able to find them at the bottom as you scroll down. Don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and leave a review in iTunes. Thank you once again.